Hey everyone, exciting news. We've officially launched the Paranoid Perspective Patreon. If you love what we do, unpacking conspiracies, chasing mysteries, and laughing through the weirdness, now you can support the show and get more of it.
So for as little as $5 a month, you will get exclusive access and extra perks to the episode. Sarah, what do we get with Tier 1?
So Tier 1 is the Curious Minds, and you get a shout out at the end of every episode.
Next tier, this is what you guys really probably want. Ad-free episodes. We don't need those pesky ads that you guys are getting on Spotify, Apple, whatever else. You will get all episodes ad-free along with what else, Sarah?
You'll also get it ahead of time. So before the episode releases for that week, it'll be available for you to watch or listen.
So if you guys are interested, check in the show notes down below, or you can head to patreon.com/the Paranoid Perspective Podcast. Welcome back to the Paranoid Perspective. I'm Jake.
And I'm Sarah.
Today we're going to talk about probably one of the craziest stories that happened in more recent history. Sarah, are you familiar with the Waco siege and the Branch Davidians and all that David Koreshness?
Yes, just very, very little, but yeah. I know it happened.
Well, I think it's funny because, you and I were definitely alive. Well, I was definitely alive. I need to check exactly when the siege was happening. April 19th, 93. So you weren't, but
was not alive.
I was. But
I wasn't born, but
you weren't born yet. Yeah. You were in the infancy of existence.
Right.
At that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it's wild. You hear about these crazy stories that happen about cult leaders and stuff like this, and it's so disconnected. And it's when I was living in Texas, I drove through Waco and I saw what Waco was like, and I'm just it's pretty wild that 20 some years ago this happened here when I was there at the time, So
right, yeah.
I don't know, but to get a little bit of context, we can't just go straight into the siege because that's just having your cake before, you have the
Baking
dumb stuff you get. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to get into David Koresh, his backstory, a little bit of what happened, how he kind of came to power in the Branch Davidians. Are you aware that is not his name, David Koresh?
I don't know anything about him.
So he was born Vernon Wayne Howell.
Vernon
Mm-hmm.
Howell.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I could see him changing it.
Well, there's a reason why he changed it, but
okay.
That's what he was born. That's his given name at birth. That was August 17th, 1959.
Okay.
Now, most people know him as David Koresh. He was the American cult leader and preacher who played a central role in the siege of Waco and leader of the Branch Davidians. But there is a lot that goes into him. You got to think. The Branch Davidians is a religious sect. Koresh claimed to be the final prophet. He literally claimed to be Jesus.
Yeah, just like my cult leader.
Exactly. It's kind of a trend, Sarah.
Right.
You gotta give the people what they want. But of course, like other cults, he had a very apocalyptic Bible teaching, including interpretations of the Book of Revelations, the Seven Seals. It attracted a lot of followers, and like most court leaders, he was very, very, very charismatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, like most court leaders as well, he was sleeping with a lot of people.
I don't understand that, really. I don't get it. It's just I guess you have power over them, so you use it, but I don't know.
Well, after doing some research, and we'll get into it, but I honestly believe that David Koresh believed this. I don't think he was doing it out of I have power over you. I honestly believe he believed it, which is kind of wild.
Okay.
But his upbringing's really, really sucked, and this is probably a big contributing factor. And there's some details of his life that are, kind of hit or miss. But like I said, Vernon Wayne Howell was born on August 17th, 1959. He was born in Houston, Texas.
Okay, pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Not. I mean, in the context of Texas, kinda like you wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how far away is it?
People don't understand. Okay. I remember coming home for Christmas when I was living in Texas, and I was so excited when I was like, yes, we're finally out of Texas. Jesus Christ. Now we've only got another, 8 hours to go, but the first 7 of it were in Texas. So, yes, relatively close to where this incident actually happened. Now, his parents, 20-year-old Bobby Wayne Howell and 14-year-old Bonnie Sue Clark.
That's insane. That was fine back then?
So get this.
I guess.
So get this. Now, I don't know what the age of consent was back then, but the age of consent to marry in the state of Texas was 14 with parents' consent. Now, I don't know what the age of consent for actually the minor itself involved was, but you could get parent permission at 14 to get married.
So did her parents give her away then? Be like, hey, you got to marry this guy?
No,
or she wanted to marry him?
I don't think they were ever married. I think that it was just a real sick, nasty relationship. Now, 2 years after the birth, guess what? The relationship started to break down.
Yeah,
Bonnie
makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. She did end up getting married to another man, Joe Golden, but it quickly ended in divorce. It didn't really give a timeline here. Like I said, some of these early details are kind of shaky. I'm assuming she was of age at that time. But what is well documented is the divorce was around 1962. So we're talking, he was probably about 4, 5, something like that.
Yeah.
And
wasn't it 59?
Yeah. Well, it's 3, 4, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah. Sorry, my math was not mathing. But Bonnie wasn't able to cope with the situation. Obviously, she is still a teenager.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, she's got her own trauma to deal with.
Especially being a teen mom at 14. I cannot imagine. Yeah. And especially in 1959 in fucking Texas. That within itself had to be fucking rough.
Right.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, it's I don't want to say this in a weird way, but it's almost a bit more socially acceptable in some sorts of situations, but back then it was no, you need to be married, you need to be fucking this is what we're going to do. We're going to lock you away and no one's ever going to hear about this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sort of mindset. But she placed Vernon in the care of her mother and her oldest sister.
Okay.
Here's the other fucked up part that I don't think should have happened. Bonnie's mother pretended to be Vernon's mother.
Because she is more accepted. I mean, how old? She was pretty old for it to be a mom, wasn't she?
Well, I don't know. But Bonnie would pose as an aunt when she occasionally came and visited him. So, dude, that's not going to end well. That's so fucked up for a kid's psyche, especially if they think that their mother's been raising them and this cool aunt that comes is actually their mom. And, they're going to find out eventually.
Well, yeah, you're definitely going to find out, yeah. I mean, this happens. That does happen.
For sure.
Yeah, it does fuck with them once they find out.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. This is where I think a lot of these crazy people that are killers, a lot of these crazy cult leaders, they all have this crazy traumatic childhood. And I think this was probably because about 3 or 4 is probably when you start to have foundational memories and that start to shape what happens. Now, granted, I don't think he really materialized it all, understood all that happened, but I'm sure it, it definitely affected him. Bonnie did remarry. This chick's just fucking getting after it. In 1964.
Okay.
So 2 years later.
She's so she's probably what, 18 at this point, or 19.
Yeah, 1920, or somewhere in there. She married a merchant marine. His name was Roy Hadelman, I think. I'm not sure how to say that last name. However, Bonnie at this stage did not feel stable enough to kind of bring her son into this situation, especially with like a new relationship and all that. The truth about his real mother was revealed not that much long after, though, to a 5-year-old Vernon. So
5, yeah.
You know what I mean? This is
Yeah, I thought he'd find out when he's a teenager or something.
Well, once again, you're creating these foundational memories. You're trying to learn how to be a child. You're coming out of those toddler years and, getting ready to attend school. And now all of a sudden, oh shit, my grandma is my mom and my mom is kind of a piece of shit. So,
yeah.
And it's also said, this situation, to add a little bit of insult to injury, it's said at this time that Vernon began to be sexually abused by one of his mother's male relatives. It doesn't ever say who, but that is kind of one of the consensuses.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like
That's
I said.
That's really rough.
Dude, and this is all within the first 5 years of your fucking life.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
People don't have this kind of trauma throughout their entire life, let alone the first 5 years.
Right.
Oh, I don't know.
That's insane.
In July of 1965, not long after Vernon turned 6, his half-brother, Roger Winfield Hadelman, that's from that merchant marine, I think it was one of his kids before he married his actual mom.
Yeah.
He arrived a few weeks later, and the Hadelman family set up, and they were going to go home in Richardson, Texas. Now, to be expected, you got a new stepdad. You got a mom you didn't know was your mom. There's a little bit of difficulties there with the young Vernon, but the two half-brothers did get along very well from all reports. So
that's good.
Right. But I still couldn't imagine, like, dude, you're 6 years old and you're like, all of a sudden it's just like, hey, never mind your mind. You're coming with me.
Yeah.
Here's your new dad.
That's really
right. Fuck.
And man. A new brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Vernon described his early childhood as lonely, as one would expect. Due to his poor study skills, he was diagnosed with dyslexia, partly caused by his poor eyesight. And if you guys have ever seen a picture of David Koresh, he's got them big, goofy glasses on.
Yeah.
He was put in special education classes and bullied by his schoolmates. Matters improved, though, after about age 12. So, fuck, man, after 12 years, we're on the up and up, okay?
Yeah. It's got to go good sometime.
It's got,
I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, for the most part, he had a pretty good life, upwards of past 6.
Yeah.
Anyway, despite this, I'm sorry. And one of the main reasons that he started to develop a little bit of confidence is he started getting interested in sports, which a lot of them he was good at, and it helped kind of develop his physique out of this like weird nerdy kid into, an actual normal-ish looking, middle schooler, high schooler, sort of. So, despite this turnaround, Vernon ended up dropping out of Garland High School his junior year. He tried various jobs, but was either fired or abandoned each and every one of them.
Oh, wow. So it doesn't say why he dropped out? Like he just didn't like it?
No, I couldn't really figure it out. I think he was just kind of over it, is what I'm kind of getting. I think he was trying at that point. I was trying to figure out a little bit, but I think it kind of came more down to, you're getting into your late teenage years at that point. You kind of want to go do your own thing. I think he was just over it, tired of people telling him what to do, probably still getting bullied to some extent. And it was just like, fuck it. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I could see that. He was so close though, but yeah.
Well, yeah. And apparently like son, like father. At age 19, Vernon had an illegal sexual relationship with a 16-year-old girl who also became pregnant.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that is generational trauma, I guess they're building.
100%.
Right.
100%. And not too far off from his mom and dad,
Right.
So, he never saw the resulting daughter. The teenage mother thought him unfit to be a father. That is in quotations. She apparently said that somewhere.
Wow.
I could never find anywhere it said that besides, I think, some wiki
Her
page
journal
or something.
or something.
Right.
They found her journal and archived it. And this is quote.
Yeah. But she ended up moving away and refused to see him. You know, the classic, you're not going to be my baby daddy sort of thing.
I guess, yeah.
At this point, he claimed to become a born-again Christian. And this was at the Southern Baptist Church where he was growing up. I'm assuming kind of close to Garland at the time, or Richardson. And soon joined his mother's denomination, the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Yeah.
Yep, they're Vernon. At this time, he's 20 now. And the pastor's daughter, a 15-year-old Sandy Berlin,
Oh my God.
began a 2-year relationship.
2-year, I guess the parents consented. Like, if she's 15, I guess she's age of, I don't know. That's crazy. You'd think he'd learn from the first one.
I don't think so. During their quote-unquote courtship, while praying for guidance one day, Vernon allegedly opened his eyes and found the Bible open to Isaiah 34:16, stating, "None should want for her to mate." Convinced this was a sign from God, Vernon approached the pastor and told him that God wanted him to have his daughter for a wife.
Okay. That's a conclusion he got from.
How you correlate that, I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's I don't know.
And they listened to him? The adult was like, okay.
The pastor dismissed the suggestion.
Okay.
And absolutely forbid her from her and him seeing each other again.
Okay. Yeah.
It was an instruction that Vernon definitely ignored. So
at least he's one responsible adult in the room, though, being like, no.
Finally, we have one in the scope of this fucking story.
Yeah.
The pastor furious at him and pretty much started like they pretty much expelled him from the church, like the pastor and the congregation.
Oh wow.
They were quote unquote repulsed by his sex obsession. So I have a feeling that those first 2 times weren't the only times.
Well, yeah, definitely not.
So
yeah.
I'm kind of reaching here. I don't think by much, but I'm almost positive.
You're like an inch. You're reaching an inch.
Yeah, I'm just kind of just going a little bit ahead.
Right, yeah.
So at this point, it's summer 1981. Koresh's next move is to Waco, Texas, where he joined the Branch Davidians. It's a splinter group of like the Davidians, Seventh-day Adventists. It's kind of like just offshoot after offshoot after offshoot of same thing. At this point, Benjamin Roden, he had died in 1978. He had originated the group in 1955. And his teachings were not really connected with the original Davidians. I didn't do a whole lot of research into like that individual sect of Christianity, but it's kind of fire and brimstone. Like that's the easiest way to think about it this way. Vernon is still Vernon. We haven't gotten to our name change yet. Right? He is 1981. He joins his church. And he's trying to, like, I guess the best way to say it would be like climb the corporate ladder of the church, right? Yeah. He began claiming he had the gift of prophecy.
Okay. Did they believe him?
Well, I mean, a decent amount obviously did because he ended up being in charge.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman named David Thibodeau. He had a book that was released in 1999, which I kind of want to get. It's A Place Called Waco is the title of the book. He was actually a survivor of the Waco siege. So
that's crazy.
I kind of want to get it. But this David Thibodeau, he suspected that David had started having somewhat of a weird relationship with Lois Roden, the widow of Benjamin Roden.
The widow? How old is she?
Keep in mind, she is in her late 60s.
What? No way. He went way the other way.
There's no in
He's like,
between
well, I'm
with this
not
man.
working with these 16-year-olds.
There's
So.
no in between, okay? We
My
just gotta...
God. That's insane.
Hey, he knows where to go to be in charge. He's got to sleep with the
I
late
guess.
widow or the,
That's sure.
Oh my God. When
That
I
is
saw
really
that,
crazy.
I was like expecting like the daughter of Benjamin Roden, the original leader of the sect. I don't know. Anyway, here's where it starts to get like a little wild. Not that it already hasn't been, but eventually Vernon began to claim that God had chosen him to father a child by Lois. This child would be the chosen one. And then in 1983, Lois allowed Koresh to begin teaching his message of the quote-unquote, the serpent's root.
Root. Okay. Isn't the serpent the bad one?
Yeah. This caused a lot of controversy within the Branch Davidians. Lois's son, George Roden, he was pretty much intended to be the next leader of the sect. He considered Vernon a real piece of shit. He's sleeping with my fucking mom, and now he's preaching this weird shit. I don't like it.
Yeah, and how old is that guy? He's probably older than him.
At least the same age.
Yeah.
At least the same age.
Right.
So, but not to be outdone by his previous ones, he found another young lady named Rachel Jones that he also intended to marry.
So he's gonna marry two of them? How old is she?
It doesn't say. I'm assuming it's because it doesn't say that she's actually like his age. I'm sure I could have found it. I just didn't. It didn't really.
Yeah, it's probably
kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like since
not
it's
notable.
It's not notable. So she's probably the ripe age of, I don't know, anywhere from 25 to fucking 30. Like he should be trying to go after.
Yeah.
But apparently God instructed him to do that too.
Of course. Yeah.
Now, a claim ensued at this. Now, all of this is happening at this place called Mount Carmel. This is where the actual compound for the Branch Davidians at in Texas. So I'm going to start saying Mount Carmel quite a lot, but just think about that as just where the actual Branch Davidians are kind of headquartered at, I guess. There was a fire that destroyed $500,000 worth of property in one of their administration buildings. George Roden said that Koresh started the fire. Koresh replied, "No man set that fire, and it was the judgment of God."
Because they're not listening to him.
Well, see, this is what I think. I think some like coercion's starting to happen where he's trying to like at this point split the group to where he can get people on his side versus, I don't know. At this time, Roden claimed to have the majority of the support of the sect, and they obviously did because they pretty much forced off Vernon and the people that agreed with him off the property at fucking gunpoint. We're like, go on, get. Yeah.
Gunpoint. Wow, that is insane.
Yeah. They weren't having none of his fucking shit anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, you're fucking my mom. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
yeah. Well, that is very Texas.
I'm telling you, this is a
You're
bad
on my
place
porch,
to be.
Get the fuck out of here.
Vernon is around 25 followers at this point, so he had a halfway decent,
pretty decent, yeah,
little following. I mean, that's for only being there for what, 2 years. I mean, that's
a lot.
Pretty good amount of people, and I can't imagine there were that many people in that at that time. I don't know exactly how many there were at that point in time, but I mean, it seemed from like the research that I did that it was almost split like 60-40. So he got like a good percentage of these people.
Yeah.
But him and his 25 followers set up camp in Palestine, Texas. This was about 90 miles from Waco, where they lived on quote unquote rough conditions, meaning pretty much being fucking homeless.
Right. It's always like that. They're the disciples. They're just roaming around with the new Jesus.
They were living like this for almost 2 years.
For 2 years? Just living like off the land? Wow.
Buses and tents is what they were said to have lived in. So.
Wow. In the heat.
in the heat
Texas.
in Texas. Yeah. Now, Vernon undertook recruitment of new followers during this time, and he got them from everywhere: California, United Kingdom, Israel, Australia, like
Really?
anywhere he could get them.
Wow.
That same year, he did travel to Israel, where he claimed to have a vision that he was the modern day Cyrus. Now, Cyrus II of Persia, commonly known as Cyrus the Great, founder of, what was it? I don't know, an empire. I can't say that. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it was a big fucking
Should I
deal.
look it up? Okay.
Yeah, you can look it up.
Cyrus
I'm
the
sorry. I'm
Great.
failing the Cyrus II of Persia.
Achaemenid?
Glad I'm not the only
Yeah, I
one.
don't know.
Glad I'm not the only one. Okay, cool. I don't feel as much like a dumbass.
Yeah.
So the actual founder of the whole Davidian movement, not just the Branch Davidians, like the entire sect, not just the one sect, but the entire overarching thing, wanted to be God's implement and establish the Davidic kingdom in Israel. David also wanted to be God's tool and set up the Davidic kingdom in Jerusalem. At least until 1990, when he believed his place of martyrdom might not be in Israel. However, it might be where else? Waco, Texas, and Mount Carmel.
Yeah. I would not pick that place.
Well,
Just
God told him, Sarah.
Right. Yeah. It came in a dream or something. Or it spelled it out in front of him. Waco.
Yeah.
Go to Waco.
Yeah, go to Waco.
Okay.
But pretty much after being exiled to this camp in Palestine, Texas forever, him and his followers eked out like a very primitive existence. Like I said, living out of buses, pretty much being homeless. I don't know how he got the money to go to fucking Israel. Probably stole it from all the fucking people that he had. Not stole it, but they donated it to their leader, whatever. But during this time, in 1986, Lois, his sultry old lady mistress, she ended up dying.
Oh, how old was she? She didn't seem that old.
Oh, well, late 60s, so I have to see. So she was probably early 70s when she died. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then she had a fortune that she gave him? An estate? Nothing? She didn't leave him anything?
And a lot of the exiled Branch Davidians were really wanting to return to Mount Carmel to pay their respects because, she was kind of a big deal. And despite the replacement, Vernon now enjoyed the loyalty of the majority of the Branch Davidian community, not just the people he was with, a lot. So I think old Lois was hyping him up at the Mount Carmel a little bit, kind of throwing her son under the bus. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying.
That sucks.
We're about to get really weird now. Now, this is just supposedly, okay? We don't know if this is true. Supposedly, in 1987, George Roden, son of Lois, supposedly exhumed at least one body from the community cemetery. Roden said he was just moving the body, or the cemetery was just moving. I don't know why he would do that. Vernon claimed that Roden had issued a challenge to resurrect the body. So this dude, George Roden, is also competing to be like fucking Jesus, apparently, too.
Next Jesus? Yeah, okay.
Right. Well, you got to think.
You can't just be a regular leader of a church.
Yeah, I was about to say, you have to think, at this point in time, obviously Lois has been hyping up Vernon, right? Or i.e. David Koresh. Her son is probably super fucking insecure about that because he's like, nope, I'm the leader. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up a body and I'm going to bring him back to life. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Vernon did go to the authorities. He had filed charges against Roden for illegally exhuming a corpse, but was told he'd have to show proof. We can't just go off of what you say. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're a homeless dude living out in the middle of nowhere in buses in Palestine, Texas. I don't know if I'm going to believe what you got to say.
Yeah.
So Koresh sees the opportunity, or Vernon at the time still, to seek criminal prosecution of Roden by returning to the Mount Carmel Center with 7 armed followers, allegedly attempting to get photographic proof of the corpse that they had exhumed.
Okay.
Ultimately, Koresh's group, or Vernon, they were discovered by Roden, and a fucking gunfight broke out.
Wow.
We're in
Yeah.
Texas, Sarah.
Well,
We're in fucking
Everyone's
Texas.
got guns. Yeah.
Everybody rootin' tootin', ready for shooting. That's
Right,
what we're doing. When the sheriff arrived, Roden had suffered a minor gunshot wound and was pinned down behind a tree. So when the sheriff arrived, they're still in the middle of this fucking gunfight.
Yeah. What? Yeah, that's insane.
And I just picture this like good old Texas sheriff with like a big ass hat, like, yeah, you boys, knock it off now. I'm coming in to talk, figure out what's going on. Everybody put your pistols down. Let's figure this out. That's kind of how I figured that happening. I don't think that's how it happened, but I could be wrong. But as a result of the incident, Vernon and his followers were charged with attempted murder. There was a trial. At the trial, Vernon explained that he went to Mount Carmel to uncover evidence of a criminal disturbance of a corpse by Roden. All of Vernon and his followers were acquitted.
What? Really?
Every single one.
Insane. Wow.
Every single one.
That's crazy.
Divine intervention, Sarah. He's fucking God.
Of course. Right.
Why would he get in trouble for something that he's going to the place he's supposed to be? No.
Right. God told him to do it, so he's not gonna, his path will not be obstructed.
Man. I have to talk to you offline about something like that. It was crazy. I heard an amazing story the other day. Anyway, in 1989, Roden murdered a gentleman named Wayman Dale Attar with an axe blow to the skull after Attar stated that he believed Vernon was the true Messiah.
So he killed him with an axe. Dude, these people are insane. This is out of control.
Fucking control.
Wow. He just says, I believe that he's Jesus incarnate.
Apparently.
And he's fucking axe to the skull. Wow.
Roden claimed the man was sent by Vernon to kill him. So, of course, he's trying to play self-defense of like, no, this fucking guy has been, he came, he shot at my place, he shot at me, I got nicked, probably just a little fucking flesh wound, and now I'm behind a tree, and then he sent somebody saying, dude, I think this guy's legit, and I was like, fuck that, hit him in the face with an axe.
Right.
So.
Did he get in trouble?
He was judged insane and confined to a psychiatric hospital in Break Springs, Texas. Since Roden owed thousands of dollars in unpaid taxes on the Mount Carmel Center, shocker.
Yeah, not surprised.
Vernon and his followers were able to raise the money and reclaim the property. So, by contrast, he's already looking like a better guy, at least in the eyes of the government. Right?
Yeah.
Might be a little crazy, but he's looking pretty okay. You know what I mean? He paid us back.
Okay.
Roden continued to harass Vernon by filing a bunch of legal filings while in prison and a bunch of other stuff. None of it really came to fruition anywhere. The dude's in a fucking crazy house for being a fucking axe murderer. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna...
Yeah, no one's listening.
No one's gonna listen to you, man.
No.
Then when Vernon and his followers reclaimed the Mount Carmel Center, they discovered that tenants who had rented from Roden had actually left behind a fucking meth lab. Sarah, I'm telling you.
It just gets worse and worse.
It's just, the more you dig, the worse it is.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Vernon immediately reported to the local police, and it was removed. Once again, I think what he's doing here is he's prompting himself to being like, oh, hey, since we have all this attention on us from local and state government, I need to try to, like, make it look like I'm the good guy here. And I'm going to be honest and upfront with everybody. And I think that's what he was doing when that part of the stage happened. He had just taken over. He's now the quasi leader, so to speak, of the Branch Davidians at Mount Carmel, and he's trying to play nice with the local authorities so they leave him the fuck alone. So now we get to the name change.
Okay.
So Vernon Howe filed a petition in the state of California Supreme Court. I'm not sure why in California.
Yeah.
But it was May 15th, 1990. He legally changed his name for, quote unquote, publicity and business purposes. And that is when he changed his name from Vernon Howell to David Koresh.
It's just like his brand or something, I guess.
Well, this actually took effect on August 28th, 1990. The first name, David, symbolizes the lineage direct to the biblical King David. That's
right. Sure.
Pretty easy, right? And if you guys follow any of the Christianity doctrine or writings or stuff like that, a descendant of King David would be the new Messiah. That's pretty much that's why he was such a big deal. Not only was he a great king, great warrior, but the new Messiah would descend from the house of David. And then Koresh is a biblical name for, take a guess, Cyrus the Great.
Really? Okay. That's interesting. He's obsessed.
So he's getting best of both worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. What was his middle name? He didn't make
no. We don't have time for middle names. We're just going with we're going with the DK. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Donkey.
But by taking the name of David Koresh, he was a quote-unquote professing himself to be the spiritual descendant of King David, even though obviously he had no DNA connecting him with peoples of the Mediterranean, Israel, anywhere, much less the King David. It's not. It was more of like I like the beginning of it where they said publicity and business purposes.
Right. Yeah.
So we got another little bit, and we're going to talk about what kind of happened up to the actual siege at Waco. It wasn't just because they're like, hey, some crazy fucking, church people are out here. Let's go fuck them up. Koresh had been involved in multiple incidents of physical and sexual abuse of children. Shocker.
Yeah.
His doctrine of the house of David led to marriages with both single women and married women in the Branch Davidians. So if you're a chick, guess what? You're my spiritual wife now. So,
yeah. Making a harem.
I'm telling you, man, it went from 0 to 100 so fucking quick once he took over that place, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I feel like that's what always happens.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Second they got power, it's just fucking on.
Right.
There was a 6-month investigation of sexual abuse allegations by the Texas Child Protective Services in 1992. Fortunately, it failed to turn up any actual evidence, and I think it's probably because a bunch of the Branch Davidians concealed a lot of these spiritual wives stories.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rachel, the one that I said that he was going to marry, is still with him at this point. He actually married, supposedly, her younger sister, Michelle. At the time, she was fucking 12.
It's crazy.
Yeah, piece of fucking shit.
And he's 30-something, right? At this point or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, it's, late 20s at best. But it doesn't fucking matter because he's still a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He did start to surround himself with people that were most loyal to him. One of those people being that person I talked about at the beginning, David Thibodeau. He was 10 years younger than Koresh, but regarding any of the physical abuse or stuff like that, he even said that there was no ever evidence found, which I think he's fucking lying about a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I think I have to look at more recent interviews of him because there are some more recent interviews from the mid 2000s and 2010s and stuff like that. I didn't get a chance to listen to any of them before the episode, so I'm really hoping he changed his fucking tune. And I'm real ignorant to it. So listeners, if you're listening to this, I haven't seen anything from him in the more recent times. So I'm just going off of what I was researching here. In one widely reported incident, ex-members claim that Koresh became irritated with the cries of his son. He had a bunch of kids, obviously, because, he's got fucking 15 goddamn wives at this point. Spanked the child severely for several minutes on 3 occasions to the child's bedroom. The second report involved a man in custody battle visited Mount Carmel and claimed to have never seen the beating of he claimed to see the beating of a young boy with a stick. So the spanking thing, I mean, a little swat on the butt, I don't think anybody has a problem with that. But when you're like beating out of anger, that's when we got a fucking problem, you know? Finally, ATF, a bunch of other people, we're going to probably have to, we're going to probably have to do this in a second episode. So we'll do that. We'll do that next week if you're good with that, Sarah. But
yeah,
this is when like a bunch of people started getting involved. We'll go over the whole siege next week, like I said, of course. But, you know, like I said, you had the FBI, you had the ATF. These guys were running guns out of the place. They had a gun dealer that actually was a Branch Davidian.
wow.
There's even supposedly like, so not only the abuse, but like they were getting like hand grenades and like high powered rifles and like wild shit. Okay. They were ready for the end of the fucking world and they thought they were going to defend it from fucking Mount Carmel. That's literally kind of what they were at. So, like I said, I think that's probably a good place to stop it before we get into the actual siege part, because it doesn't get any better, Sarah. It doesn't get any fucking better.
Well, until it's over, I guess.
Well,
till it ends.
Even then, but I don't know. But
no, it's not better, but at least it's over.
Yeah. But to give you guys a little, you know, preface for next week's episode, it was essentially a 51-day standoff at the Mount Carmel facility. So.
It's so long.
It is a fucking long time. That is so long.
Wow.
You're talking almost 2 months of, I couldn't even imagine.
Crazy.
But, so what do you think, Sarah? What do you think about old Davy Koresh, old Vernon?
I think he's a loser.
Yeah.
And
kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, piece of shit. You know, your past trauma doesn't allow you to do shit like that. Like, he should have gone to therapy and work his shit out instead of dating 12-year-olds.
Not dating. He never dated a 12-year-old.
Okay.
He married a 12-year-old.
Okay.
As a spiritual wife.
Don't marry 12-year-olds.
Yeah, I think that goes without fucking saying.
Abusing people. Right. Yeah.
Well, and I think, like I said, I think he had a lot of deep-seated issues, like you said. I think he had a lot of childhood trauma. I don't think he knew how to deal with that. And the second he saw opportunity to where he could, in his mind, because like I said, I genuinely believe that he believes that he was the next fucking Messiah. I don't think he was doing this. And we'll talk more about that next week as to why I believe that. But I don't think it came from a place like originally of like wanting to be in power. But once you are in that power, it's like, oh, fuck, I can do whatever I want. Like, these people will let me do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I want to beat the shit
out of control when he was younger. So.
Yeah. This is the first time in 20, 30 years that he's ever been in control of anything. Ever.
Right.
Like, yeah, dude, you're going to be like a fucking child and take advantage of every opportunity you possibly can. So.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. But I think that gives us a good overview of fucking old Vernon, David Koresh, on how fucking crazy this guy was and how unfortunate his fucking childhood was. Like, I'm not trying to justify the dude's actions by any means, because obviously he was a piece of shit. But like, life didn't give him any fucking handouts or favors either.
Well,
like, he had a fucking
and therapy
rough life.
Wasn't really popular, but it's only become popular, like, I don't know, since COVID, maybe. Like, people talk about it a lot more now. Yeah.
True.
So we didn't really have that option, I feel like, but I don't know. Yeah. Still, a piece of shit, but.
Well, listeners, we will get into the actual Waco siege next week, but if you guys enjoyed this episode, consider sharing this episode with a friend. Check us out on all social medias. Just search the Paranoid Perspective Podcast and you'll probably find us there. If you'd like to support the show even further, you can head over to patreon.com/the Paranoid Perspective Podcast. Got some extra little perks over there. And we're coming up on a year pretty quick, Sarah. So we're going to have to do something, kind of fun for the year episode, but you guys will just have to wait and see for that. But thank you guys. Appreciate you for hanging out and listening. And as always,
remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching. See you next time on The Paranoid Perspective.